as the sun goes down here in the desert of Peoria, Arizona, the lights will go on from the Peoria Sports Complex. We're getting ready for our second telecast here on Root Sports, our second night game of the spring. Mom and Dad and the kids picking out their favorite patch of grass up there in the berm. Little Larry Bernandez, he's ready for some baseball, and this youngster is getting ready for his Mariner debut in 2024. What a beautiful night out for baseball, everybody. It's the Mariners against the San Francisco Giants tonight from the Peoria Sports Complex. I'm Rick Riz along with Mike Blowers. The Mariners are playing very well this spring. They come off away with a win yesterday against Kansas City. They did it with pitching, and we're going to see a little right hand of the mound of Roscoe Ramirez, who's been very, very effective. And throughout his minor league career, Mike, he throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk anybody.
And you look at those numbers, 67 walks for Ramirez in his career. He is a strike-throwing machine. If you take a look at his last outing against the Diamondbacks, he was on top of his game. He has to pitch well this spring if he wants to make this club. 3 innings pitched for him, just 28 pitches to get through those 3 innings, 23 of them for strikes. This is a young man that can top out at 94 miles an hour. Typically his fastball around 91. Will mix in a curveball, changeup, and slider, but he will throw a lot of strikes, tries to get the ball on the ground early in counts.
Manager Eric Wedge, a little different look for his lineup tonight. Kyle Seager will be up in that leadoff spot, but he's got Vinny Catricala batting cleanup. He's had a great spring.
I think Catricala is one of the stories of spring training. You can see his average at 362. Wedge gaining a lot of confidence in hitting and cleanup in tonight's ball game. So this young man making an impression on Eric Wedge.
So the fans are filing into the Peoria Sports Complex. What a night out for baseball. Glad you could join us for all the play-by-play. And we'll be back with tonight's first pitch right after this timeout. And again, welcome back to the Peoria Sports Complex on a great night out here in Peoria, Arizona. A super crowd on hand as the Mariners get ready to take on the San Francisco Giants for the second time this spring. The umpires are entering the ballpark. Everybody picking out their favorite spot. Oh my goodness, what a night. The Mariners are 10-3 on the spring season here in the Cactus League with a 1 tie against the Dodgers. San Francisco at 8-4 in the spring with a couple of ties. One of the hot bats right now, one of the great stories of the spring, Mike Blowers, is this kid right here. What a turnaround for Michael Saunders. He's hitting .417, a home run, and 7 runs batted in, and driving the ball all over the place, including the opposite way.
Well, you can also see the 4 doubles for Michael Saunders, and I think the biggest adjustment that he made over the winter, yes, he worked hard in the weight room and worked on his swing, but I think it's more his approach at the plate. He has been aggressive early in the count, and because of that, you see him driving the baseball the other way into the gaps. That's where his doubles have come. We know that Michael is an athletic hitter, somebody that has a lot of ability, but his approach in the past, Rick, he's fallen behind in counts, and it really hurt him. And then again, he comes back last night in the ball game and hits another double off the fence out in left center field. So not only hitting the ball for a high average, but he's driving the baseball with the 4 doubles and the home run. I like the way that he's been aggressive in counts. You take a look at this swing, not waiting around for that perfect pitch, and using the athletic ability that he has.
Great idea, the strike zone this spring, as you mentioned, hitting in hitters counts, looking for that fastball, getting it, and doing some damage. He's hitting 3-2, 3-1, 2-1, and great counts all spring long.
And if he gets that pitch on the first pitch of his at-bat, he's turning it loose, Rick. And I think in the past what we've seen from Michael is falling behind. Last year, a lot of 0-2, 1-2 counts.
Yeah.
The best hitters in the game have a tough time hitting in those counts all the time, Rick. So I think more than anything, his approach at the plate this spring is, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to turn it loose, and whatever happens is going to happen. Well, what's happened is he's opened up a lot of eyes.
Well, the Mariners are taking the field, getting ready to take on the Giants here in Peoria for the second time this spring. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. First of all, for the San Francisco Giants, managed by Bruce Bochy.
Thank you, Rick. And leading things off, it'll be Blanco, then Freddie Sanchez. The veteran DH will hit second. Then it's Beltpill, Shearholtz, Fontenot, Crawford, Gillespie, and Stewart. The catcher will hit ninth.
And on the mound, little right-hander, Erasmo Ramirez, very effective in his last outing last Saturday against the Arizona Diamondbacks, getting the win. Mike, he went 3 innings and threw only 28 pitches.
And you look at the numbers, opponents average only 200 off of him. 1 strikeout, hasn't walked anybody yet. He will throw a lot of strikes tonight. That's what he's done throughout his career. Let's take a look at the defense behind him tonight. Out in left field, it'll be Carlos Figueroa, who has been swinging a hot bat. Also played some really solid defense in last night's game. Casper Wells in center field, and Mike Wilson getting the start out and right. On the infield, Catricala gets the start at third. Rodriguez and Seager up the middle. Mike Harp at first base, and Miguel Olivo will do the catching.
Erasmo Ramirez signed at the ripe old age of 17 in the Mariners organization, now in his 5th year of professional baseball. He was at AA Jackson and AAA Jackson last year. Here again, it kind of shows you what this guy does as far as staying inside the strike zone. Mike, look at that, only 67 walks in his minor league career, along with 359 strikeouts. And look at the season he had in 2009, only 5 walks the entire year.
And one of them was intentional. So that gives you an idea. The young man throws a lot of strikes. He's not real imposing on the mound, but his fastball, he's a sneaky fastball where he can top out at 94 miles an hour, typically 91, 92 with a good curveball. Interesting story out of Nicaragua. At the age of 14, he wanted to play baseball and concentrate on baseball after playing a little soccer. He went to this academy for his schooling and to play baseball. Went to a tournament at the age of 17 in the Bahamas. He was scouted there by a few major league scouts. The Phillies were interested, so were the Mariners. The Mariners ended up signing him. And then the director of the academy said, Erasmo, we have a phone call from the Seattle Mariners. They would like to sign you. What do you want to sign for? He said, I'll sign for anything. I just want an opportunity. And the Mariners he's made the most of it, because here he is tonight with a chance to make this club and be a part of the 5-man rotation.
He is quite a story. Gregor Blanco will lead it off, and the first pitch is on the way, and it's low and inside for ball 1 from Peoria. Glad you could join us for all the play-by-play. Rick Riz along with Mike Blowers. We are just days away from leaving for Japan. High chopper over the head of Carpet, first base, and into right field. A base hit for Blanco. Mike Wilson overruns the ball, and now Blanco heads for second, and he's going to make it. That's going to be a base hit, a single for Blanco, and an error on in right field by Mike Wilson. So the Giants right away have a man on in scoring position, nobody out. That'll bring up designated hitter Freddie Sanchez. A few years ago, as a Pittsburgh Pirate, led the National League in hitting. He's had some health issues the last few years, a bad shoulder and a bad back. Close to third base, Benny Catricala. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Second time these two clubs have met. Giants won 7-5 over in Scottsdale back on March the 11th. A lot of Giant fans here at the complex tonight, and Mariner fans side by side. Swing and a miss, and there's that 95-mile-an-hour fastball that Ramirez has.
And again, I think because of his stature on the mound, you look at him, he's not imposing at all. And I think when he's throwing 94, 95 miles an hour, it will get on the hitters in a hurry. I think it's something they just don't expect until they stand in the batter's box.
Turn around and look. That'll get Blanco back to the bag. Book says that Ramirez is 5'11", 205. When I talked to him the other day, and he said, you know what, Rick, on the mound, I'm 6'7". Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Freddie Sanchez. Tough hitter. And one away for the Giants here in the first inning, and Orozco has his first strikeout already.
And just goes right at him with another good fastball on the outside corner. Freddie Sanchez, a quality hitter, can't catch up to it.
1 on and 1 away. Pitching coach Carl Willis looking on your right, along with skipper Eric Wedge on the left. This is first baseman Brandon Belt, and he takes the breaking ball low and inside, ball 1. Belt having a good spring for the Giants. He's hitting .333, 9 for 27, a couple of home runs. It's just .225 last year, 9 home runs, 18 runs batted in. The 0-1. Low and inside, ball 2, 2 balls, and no strikes. Like here it is, game number 15 out of the spring, and things start to get really interesting for the players. They're trying to make this ball club, especially the young guys like Ramirez, or at least trying to make an impression. Jack Srensick and Eric Wedge have some mighty big decisions coming up. Here's a towering fly ball into left center field. Over is Casper Wells. Now backpedals some more as the wind grabs it, and he makes the catch, tag it at second. Blanco heading for third. The throw cut off. The relay to third, not in time. Belt flies out to center, and Blanco winds up on at third base.
Casper Wells misjudged that fly ball a little bit. The flag's blowing straight out in center field. That was a towering fly ball that just kept drifting until he was back in front of the warning track. And because he was drifting back, when he catches it, it gives Blanco the opportunity to tag up and go to third. But you're absolutely right with Ramirez. He's in the mix, and he knows it, Rick. He has an opportunity to try to break the 5-man rotation. And for him to do that, he'll have to be impressive. So far, he has been.
Look at the flags high above the batter's eye and straightaway center field. Here's Brett Pill, lines one into the gap in left center field. That's going to score Blanco. Pill heading for second. Up with the ball is Wells. Gets the throw to second base to Mike Hart, trailing the runner, and the Giants have a 1-0 lead. Brett Pill having a nice spring for San Francisco.
And he's been watching, hitting fourth, seeing Ramirez starting everybody off with a fastball. That fastball in the middle of the plate. Solid line drive out into left center field.
Inside the dugout, Blanco scoring the game's first run. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning, and that'll bring up right fielder Nate Scherholz. 78 hitter last year with San Francisco with 9 home runs and 41 runs batted in. Giants last year 86 and 76. They had the big year a couple of years ago when they won the World Series. Throw down to second base by Miggy, and diving back safely is Pill. The count is 0-2 on Scherholz.
For Olivo throwing down to second base, even though they weren't able to get Pill, just trying to keep him closer to second, make it a little bit tougher for him to try to score on a base hit, because he was getting a huge secondary lead out there.
Rodriguez is shortstop tonight, taking the throw from Miggy. Brendan Ryan in last night's game came down with a sore leg and a swing and a miss and a breaking ball down and in for strike 3. Erasmo Ramirez striking out Nate Scherholz to retire the side. A couple of strikeouts for Ramirez. San Francisco with a run. We go to the bottom of the first. Our score here in Peoria under the lights. Giants lead 1-0. to the bottom of the first inning. The Giants lead by a score of 1-0. Seager will lead things off. And Mike, what's the lineup look like tonight for Eric Wedge?
Hitting second, it'll be Casper Wells. Mike Carp hitting third. Vinny Catricala will hit cleanup tonight. He's been a great story here in spring training. Carlos Peguero fifth. Then it's Olivo, Wilson, Sucre, and Rodriguez. Luis Rodriguez will hit ninth. 2011 numbers for Barry Zito. Take a look at him. High ERA at a 5.87, 53 and 3 2/3 innings for Zito. 24 walks, 32 strikeouts. Gave up 10 home runs last year. And the defense behind Zito tonight. In the outfield will be Pill, Blanco, and Shearholtz. Crawford and Fontenot is up the middle. You take a look at Zito. He needs to get things turned around for these guys. 53 and 2/3 innings, Rick. Giving up 10 home runs. He really struggled. ERA just under 6.
Seager pops one foul and out of play as the count evens up on Kyle at 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, Barry's had a rough time since going from one side of the bay to the other. Only the 13 games last year and just 9 starts.
Awkward swing from Kyle Seager. Like the bottom hand came off of the bat. Barely able to hang on to it.
And a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. And when he's on, Mike, Barry Zito has that big curveball.
Yeah, he just threw a curveball. That wasn't his best one. That one just rolled in there for a strike. I think Seager thought it was a little bit up in the zone. Can't give up on it, though.
Out of play on the left field side, and the count is still 1-2 on Kyle. A lot of Giants fans making the trek to Peoria from Scottsdale to win home for San Francisco. The 1-2. Big curve, almost nicked him on the right shoulder. Missed up and in ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Oh, Barry Zito strikes out the leadoff batter, Kyle Seager. 1 down for the Mariners here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up center fielder Casper Wells.
And we'll take a look at the last pitch. Trying to hit the outside corner. Is able to do that with a fastball. Maybe just a bit off the plate away. Seager chases it, trying to stay alive.
What's the key to hitting a guy with a great curveball, Mike? He faced a lot of them.
And it's going to be more difficult for the left-handed hitters because they have to hang in there.
Casper Wells throws one through the gap at short into left field. So Wells on at first base, tying run aboard with 1 out.
I think the main thing with Barry Zito is not to give up on that pitch. As we take a look at the swing from Casper Wells, not letting Zito get to the curveball, jumps on a first pitch fastball and hits it hard into left field. You just can't give up on it, Rick. And he'll throw a couple of them, a little roller that he'll throw over for a strike, and then he'll snap one up there. And that's the one that he tries to get his strikeouts on. And that's a difficult one because you expect a certain break, but he has, even now, still has one of the better curveballs. So you just have to hang in there with it and not give up on it. But you'll see a lot of hitters just look at it as opposed to trying to swing and hit it.
Mike Carp bouncing ball out to Fontenot over to second. They get the force there on Casper Wells for the second out of the inning. So Carp is on at first base with a 4-6 fielder's choice. Fontenot over to Crawford. Brandon Crawford, the Giants shortstop. A lot of times, Mike, with a big breaking ball from a pitcher like Zito or any other good breaking ball pitchers, that sometimes it's the speed as well. You got to wait for that thing.
You do, but I think with Barry, I think it was tougher. You talked about him over with the A's. He had a little more velocity on his fastball, and he would throw his fastball up in the zone and get a lot of hitters to chase it because he's trying to change eye level. And then all of a sudden, he'd snap that curveball on you. He doesn't throw as hard now, so I think as far as the hitters go, they should be able to make that adjustment a little bit easier.
Vinny Catricala with a fly ball into left center field. Shallow over is Gregor Blanco to make the catch. And that will end the inning. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left on after 1 here in Peoria. Giants lead 1-0.
Mariners.
back to the Peoria. Giants are winning right now 1-0 over the Mariners. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentig along with Rick and Mike this evening. Now, we have been unveiling the new Mariner commercials, and we're going to do that throughout the evening as well. First up, Brandon League and Jason Vargas have a funny way of saying, "Welcome to Seattle."
Jesus. Welcome to Seattle.
Mariners baseball. Get after it.
Wow, did you catch that? I guess.
All right, so when they bring you this commercial, I'm here with Jason Vargas. Jason, what is your immediate reaction to it?
That's the first time I saw it all the way through, but it was fun. It was fun. It was fun throwing the fish at Jesus, and wish we could have got the one where he hit him in the back.
Now, were you amazed at how many takes that you had to do in order to come up with a 30-second spot?
Yeah, it was quite a few, but I guess I had to get the fish toss just right.
All right, now everything's been moved up this spring. You threw yesterday, and you're slated to throw that second game in Japan. How has your preparation this spring changed because of everything being accelerated?
Nothing's really changed other than the pitch counts have been increased. So, it's kind of the same as always. We were here a little bit early, so we got a chance to get a little bit ahead of everybody and, just increasing the pitch count quicker, and it seemed to be fine so far.
I was hearing that you were trying to work on your changeup yesterday. What is it at this point in the spring that you're trying to make that changeup do, and was it doing it for you?
Yeah, the other day I was just trying to throw it more for strikes, and it really didn't matter what I was doing. I kept throwing it in the dirt, but hopefully we can get it ironed out in the bullpens, and hopefully get some more swings and misses and some ground balls with it.
All right, best of luck this season, Jason. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Angie.
All right, let's get you back upstairs to Rick and Mike.
All right, Angie, thank you very much. So there's commercial number 1 featuring Brandon League, Jason Vargas, and newcomer Jesus Montero. They'll take the Pike Place Market, catching the fish, the salmon. Nice catch.
You mentioned all the takes. I wonder how many times he dropped it. You think that little slimy, you drop it a few times.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out in the outtakes. In the meantime, Erasmo Ramirez has 2 outs here in the top half of the second, a couple of ground ball outs, and now he's taking a look at Connor Gillespie. And there is ball 1. Mike Fontenot has bounced out to Kyle Seager at second, and Brandon Crawford chopped out to Ramirez. 2 up and 2 down. 1-0 Giants lead. Back up the middle off the side of the mound to the second baseman Kyle Seager. Back to Carp in time to get Gillespie. 3 ground ball outs from Erasmo Ramirez. So that's it for the Giants. We go to the bottom of the second. San Francisco 1, Mariners 0.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking. By your Western Washington Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. And by the Emerald Queen Casino. It's time to rock with Big and Rich April 14th at the Emerald Queen Casino with special guest Cowboy Troy. For tickets, go to emeraldqueen.com. Back upstairs to Rick and Mike.
All right, Angie, thank you very much. Look at that beautiful cactus here in the desert of Peoria, Arizona. Great shots from this part of the country on our first telecast last night, the sunsets, and also for tonight's broadcast. Carlos Peguero will lead things off. And it's a strike on the inside corner from Barry Zito, and the count is 0-1. Dave Niehaus, who always would say down here, the master painter, painted us a beauty tonight.
Yeah.
I loved it when he said that. The master painter. The 0-1. Big slow curve up and away for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, we had a beautiful evening last night, but I think tonight maybe a little better. 79 degrees at game time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Up in the 80s during the day today. You got a chance to play a little golf today, huh?
So did you.
1-2 on Peguero. You went to a real course, and my son and I and his wife, Melissa, we went to Cracker Jacks and played putt-putt golf.
Did you make it through the windmill all right? Or
I had a tough time with the windmill, and, you know, the angles were good there. One hopper snared it short by Brandon Crawford. Wheels around, and he throws out Peguero at first base. Nice play defensively by Crawford. 1 out. Hey, friends, Ichiro Bobblehead Night is back on Friday, April 20th. It features the Mariners' all-time stolen base leader. He may be only 6 inches tall, but he can cover 90 feet in no time at all. Be one of the first 20,000 fans to take home this year's Ichiro Bobblehead. Thanks to Root Sports, when you pick up tickets at mariners.com.
Before we forget about it, nice play by Crawford, but a quality at bat for Peguero. Again, I think seeing the left-hander Zito with the good curveball, something Eric Wedge, I'm sure, took notice of. Even though he made it out, he hit it hard back up the middle. It took a great play by Crawford to throw him out. And it's something that Eric Wedge has been talking about with all the hitters, but especially Carlos wanted him to make his adjustments. Quality at bat.
Little looper, shallow right field, drops in front of Sherholtz. A base hit for Miguel Olivo. Parachutes one the other way. So he's on at first base with 1 out, and the Mariners have the tie and run aboard.
Barry Zito able to get in on the hands of Miguel Olivo, but it's a base hit out of the deal. He'll take it.
Every time, and that'll bring up right fielder Mike Wilson. Do they even out, Mike? The smashes that have turned into outs are great plays.
Depends on the quality of hitter that you are.
Somebody used to say, they even out somewhere. But I don't know if they do.
I don't think they evened out for Edgar Martinez in his career. He'd hit 3 line drives a night. Probably for the rest of us, it's pretty close.
1-0 on Wilson, and he takes a strike, and the count is even now on Mike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's funny, though, as a hitter, you never remember the little parachute like that one.
Yeah,
you always remember the ones that were caught.
The girl will remember that nice play by Crawford. Oh, God, I should have had a base hit. Inside on Wilson. Ball 2, 2-1 on Big Mike from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Outstanding football player in high school. Decided to sign with the Mariners. Turned down an offer from the University of Oklahoma to play football. Miggy back. Barry Zito in that starting rotation for the Giants, highlighted by some tremendous talent, starting with Tim Lincecum, already a 2-time National League Cy Young Award winner. Ball 3, 3-1 on Wilson. How about Matt Cain, who was 12-11 last year with a 2.88 ERA. The youngster Madison Bumgarner, who did a wonderful job coming up at the end of the 2010 season, was outstanding in the playoffs. As you take a look at Sucre, the catcher, due up next. And also Ryan Volksaw. Up and away, ball 4. So Wilson walks, and the Mariners have runners at first and second. Tied run on in scoring position with 1 out, 1-0 Giants. But Mike, that's one of the more talented starting staffs in the National League.
Well, you consider that staff did the job that they did a few years ago when they were in the World Series and struggling to score runs, but were able to get there, leaning on that pitching. And then last year the pitching just wasn't enough because they really, really struggled offensively, the Giants did. But it's a talented group. I'm sure any organization would be happy to have them.
Here is designated hitter tonight, Jesus Sucre, and he takes a strike, 0-1, the DH this evening. He was in the Braves organization last year. Sucre 1 for 4 in the spring, sends a fly ball into center field. Backing up is Blanco. He's there in time to make the catch. Oliva will tag. He'll go from second to third. And the Mariners have runners now at first and third with 2 outs. That'll send up shortstop Luis Rodriguez. Here's Stewart having a little conversation with Barry Zito. Yeah, the Giants last year had a rough time scoring runs, as you mentioned, Mike. They averaged only 3.5 runs a game. That was the worst in the National League. Mariners had the same problem trying to score runs, worst in the American League. Here is Rodriguez. Luis, a home run for the spring with 4 runs batted in, batting 136. Came up with some timely hits for the Mariners last year.
Yes. I think when you talk about the Mariners, one of the things that they're hoping for this year is all that young talent that had an opportunity to get their feet wet last year, put all the nerves and all that stuff behind them and produce this year, and that's what the expectation is of Eric Wedge.
It was a great experience for 18 rookies and 12 made their major league debuts. In the dirt with a breaking ball, good stop by the catcher Stewart to keep Miggy at third. 1-1 on Rodriguez. Played the Royals last night here, and they also had 12 players make their major league debuts last season, and they're going to be a talented young ball club.
Hosmer leading the way over at first, the good first baseman, left-handed hitter.
Mariners won last night 6-2 over the Royals to improve their Cactus League record to 10-3. Kevin Millwood getting the win last night, swinging a foul off the catcher Stewart, and it's 1-2 on Luis. But I thought Kevin pitched very well. He couldn't find the strike zone, had trouble in the first, but then settled down, got into that groove.
Well, and that's why I think him being a veteran, being around, knowing what's going on, he clearly was struggling, especially in the first inning. He had a tough time getting his fastball down, but able to make the adjustment on the fly where he settled down, was able to get some ground balls, a couple double play balls helped him.
Ground ball to third. Tapped over to Gillespie. He'll go to second for the force on Mike Wilson. That'll end the inning, and we go to the top half of the third here in Peoria. Our score: the Giants 1 and the Mariners 0.
Welcome back to Peoria. Giants still on top. Angie Mintink here. And throughout the evening, we are rolling out the Mariners' new 2012 ad campaign. And our next commercial showcases the talents of Brendan Ryan and Ichiro in impersonations.
You're good, you. You're good. Christopher Walken? Frank Sinatra.
Justin Bieber.
Are you talking to me? Huh? Are you talking to me?
Jack Nicholson.
Brad Pitt.
Kenny Rogers.
We named the dog Indiana.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Mariners baseball. Get after it.
Shaken, not stirred.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. We just missed a fly out to center field. But Rick and Mike, do you guys remember that at one point we had Brendan Ryan do the entire lineup doing Robert De Niro, and he also does a mean Johnny Carson?
I'll tell you what, Angie, he is good. Not only with, the sound of De Niro's voice, but that look, the way he squints his eyes. You, I'm watching you. He's good. One away, and here is Blanco. And look there's the look. Isn't that De Niro, Mike?
I don't know. That's the look you give me every time I walk in the booth.
You, I'm watching you. You. He is funny. We had him do it on the Cactus League Report on Monday evening. He was a big hit. He is one funny guy.
He is.
Oh, 0-2 on Blanco.
A little bit of a quad pull. Hopefully we'll get back in the next few days from that.
Yeah. Nice game. Went down to second, had to re-tag, get back to first base. Chopper, two-hopper, waiting for it. Carp, he's got it. Underhand flip over to Ramirez for the out on Blanco, and there's 2 down. So let's see, that is 5-6 in a row retired by Erasmo. Ramirez getting the job done. Mariners single game tickets are now on sale. Pick up tickets to great giveaways like bobbleheads of Ichiro Felix and Dustin Ackley, as well as marquee matchups against the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants, and more. Your tickets to see the show taking center stage on the Safeco Field Diamond are available now at Mariners.com. Designated hitter Freddie Sanchez, 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the third, 1-0 Giants. Down the middle for a strike, 0-1. All right, Mike. You've watched this guy for 2 innings. You're a hitter with the San Francisco Giants. You know he's going to be in that strike zone. How do you go after him early in the count?
Well, I think that you have to stay on his fastball, and I think that's something that Ramirez will have to deal with as he gets the scouting reports and he makes his club and he has people watching him. Those are going to be the reports on him to try to get after him early. Now, that being said, after he settled down in the first, the quality of his strikes is the difference, and that's the reason why he's been able to get some easy outs, because the Giants are trying to be aggressive with him, but he's been on the corners making quality pitches, and there's not much that they can do with it.
And that's what the coaches are getting him to do right there. 0-2 on the count. He went trying to get him to get off the plate, have the hitter go chase one. Breaking ball up the middle. A base hit for Freddie Sanchez, and the Giants have their third base hit, so 1 out for the Giants. That breaks a string of 6 in a row, retired by Ramirez.
And this is an example of what you're talking about. Too good a pitch. He has him in a 1-2 count and throws a breaking ball in the middle of the plate. I'm sure that Miguel Olivo will talk to him after the inning and say, hey, 1-2, go ahead and throw that pitch in the dirt. See if you can get him to chase it or throw it off the plate away.
Too much of the plate. Sanchez hit it hard through the box. Brandon Belt, 0 for 1, is fly to center, and that one just misses at 93 miles an hour. Had a nice talk with Rosmo a few days ago. He said, everybody told me my whole life I'm too small, even growing up in Nicaragua. But I love baseball, he said. I just wanted to prove to everybody that I could play. All I wanted was an opportunity, and he finally got it. When he went to that academy, there was a guy from Chicago. His name is Moises Santiago. He was a gentleman from Chicago who had a great influence on Ramirez. He knew a young lady who was a manager of a youth baseball team down there, Rosmo was telling me, and he would gather up a lot of baseball gloves and spikes and uniforms and things like that to help out this manager down there for her team. And he said we would get, spikes that we could wear and baseball equipment. He said that was the guy who took me under his wing, and he was the guy who got me in touch with the folks from the academy down there in Nicaragua. and he helped him get into that academy. And that was the start of his baseball career as a 14-year-old kid at the time. Moises Santiago, gentleman from Chicago, who played a big role in a young man from Nicaragua. Great story.
Dennis Martinez was from there, right?
Yes, El Presidente. Perfect game. Line drive into the gap in right center field by Belt. Sanchez, the turn at second, heading for 3. Up with the ball as Wells gets a throw in. So the Giants have runners at first and third with 2 outs and lead 1-0 here in the top half of inning number 3.
Take a look at this last pitch. It's a fastball, again centered in the plate, and Belt having a good spring for the Giants. Hits it hard into right center field.
Roberto Kelly coaching over there at first base for the Giants.
Ex-teammate of mine.
Good ball player.
Yankee, yep.
Here's Brett Pill, jumped on a first pitch and doubled in a run in the first inning. Down and away, ball 1.
And Ramirez, remembering that, starts him off with a slider off the plate away.
Pill hit it hard into the gap in left center field, scoring Gregor Blanco. Now he has 2 on here in the third. On a play on the right field side, and the count is even on Pill at 1-1. Brett Pill last year came up from AAA Fresno to the Giants, and in his first at bat, in his first swing in the big leagues, hit a home run off of Wade LeBlanc of the San Diego Padres. Two on, 2 outs. Check swing, little tapper to the right side of home plate. As the count goes to 1-2. Mike, who'd you hit your first home run off of in the big leagues?
Charlie Huff.
Is that in Texas?
Yes.
Had a hold of a knuckleball.
Hit it off my shoe top. It was dancing, and I just was able to hit it down the line. Yeah.
Number 1.
See if he goes back to a slider here. Looks like going inside with a fastball. Solid ball.
Ground ball rolls out to Kyle Seager. The throw to Carpenter. It's in time to get Pill. What a pitch by Ramirez. The retired tough hitter in Brett Pill. That'll end the inning. 2 left on after 3. After 2.5. 1-0 San Francisco.
Welcome back to Mariners baseball down here in Peoria. The M's need to get one back. Angie Mentink here, along with last night's starter, Kevin Millwood. 4 shutout innings. You only allowed 1 hit, Kevin. At the end of the spring, the goal is to make the team. What was the goal last night?
Just try to improve on what I'd already done. And first 2 innings wasn't real pretty. Walked a few guys, but
it's foul. It's foul.
Other than that, I felt like it went pretty well. I was able to make an adjustment between the second and third inning, and everything went well.
Well, it actually pretty impressive. You hadn't allowed a walk up until that point this spring. Now, Eric Wedge is hoping that you'll make this team and that you'll be able to mentor his young staff. Was there somebody who took you under their wing, and what did you learn from them?
Well, when I came up to the big leagues, I was with Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, and Denny Nagel was there for a while, and I had a lot of guys that I could go to for information and just learn from by watching them, so it was pretty easy for me.
You brought up that Atlanta Braves staff in the late 90s when you came up. Jack Z has said that he wants to get good overnight, sort of like the Atlanta Braves did it with arms. Do you see sort of a similar situation, that similar push in young talent here?
Yeah, there's a ton of great arms here, and there's a lot of good guys in the field that have a very high ceiling. It's going to take getting the right mix of guys out there and playing good defense and pitching well, and that's when you're going to start winning.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You got it.
Who knows, Rick? Monday we'll be talking about Danny Holtzen, Taijuan Walker, James Paxton, like we're talking about these guys from the Atlanta Braves in the late 90s.
Angie, I don't think it'll be too far off for the future talking about those kids. And Kevin Millwood, nice guy to have around to help out the youngsters. Kyle Seager takes a pitch outside, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, according to the third base umpire, for strike 3, and there's 1 away for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 3rd. The Giants lead 1-0. Now Kevin Millwood is in a battle for one of the starting spots in the rotation, Mike, along with these guys, Blake Bevan, Hector Noesi, and also Hisashi Iwakuma.
Millwood, obviously the veteran. Bevan had the advantage of pitching for Eric Wedge last year and pitched well. So I think that he kind of has the upper hand there. Then you have the rest of the guys. So I think right now, Angie's absolutely right. I think Eric Wedge, all things considered, would like to see Millwood continue to pitch well and make this club, because he just brings an element that they really don't have on their team. And that is a guy that's been through it all, seen it all, and is good in the clubhouse, will help the younger players. All those things are important, and so I think it's important. And plus, Eric had him in 2005, very familiar with him.
You betcha. He had 2.86 ERA to lead the American League. Eric, at the time, the young manager for the Indians, he took over in 03 with a young ball club at that point. C.C. Sabathia, Cliff Leah, Grady Sizemore. 4 years later, they were 1 win away from a World Series. But in 05, he had Millwood, and Millwood would leave after that season. But it's nice to have that kind of a guy on your staff, because he can help out the others. 3-0, the count on Casper Wells. And Zito gets a strike in there. Mike Harper's due up next. And Mike, everybody needs that mentor. Everybody needs that guy who's been there and done it.
And I think that, as Casper Wells draws a walk, I think that holds true for even the superstars in the league. If you talk to Ken Griffey Jr., he will tell you some guys that helped him, even though he was the most talented player on the field.
Yeah. Because there's
everybody has them.
A different set of eyes. And I remember going to the clubhouse, Mike, after a ball game when you guys were around, and around Booney's locker, or your locker, Jay's locker, talking about the game, talking about what happened, how the guy pitched to you that particular night.
Well, I think that's what's interesting watching the Mariners now. They have enough young guys. If they can play and play consistently at the major league level, they have a chance for them to grow together over the course of years. And that's when you're going to see more of that, Rick. That's when those things, you get past the can I play here, what do I have to do to stay here, to all of a sudden focusing more on winning games and doing what you have to do to help your club on a particular night. It just comes with time and experience. They're talented guys. It's just a matter of whether they can make it all work, but they have an opportunity, because they're young, to be together for a long period of time.
And they get to know each other, trust each other. Right. They know when they're going good. They can see when maybe they're struggling at a point in the season. I'll never forget the story you told me about Edgar Martinez. About you're sitting in the dugout. You asked him about a particular pitcher, and you asked him, well, how's he pitching you? Well, he pitches me this way, but he's going to go after you this way. Right. Another way. Right. Because he knew you, because he was with you for a long time.
Yeah. And he's one of the best to ever step in a batter's box, too, which helps. But I think the main thing with that is having an understanding of what guys can do around you and what they're expected to do and knowing what a pitcher's strengths are. So, yeah. In that example,
Carp, fly ball, deep left field, Pill back to the wall, goodbye baseball. Mike Carp the other way, his first home run of the spring with Casper Wells aboard, and it's now the Mariners 2 and the Giants 1. How about that? Mike going the other way.
I don't think there was much doubt about it when he hit it. He squares it up. Again, the wind blowing out a little bit to left, but this ball was hit well. Take a look at the pitch from Zito. And maybe just a little fastball out over the plate. Carp doing an excellent job of going with the pitch, and it's about halfway up the berm out there in left field. The ball the other way. We've seen it a lot from the Mariner hitters this spring, hitting the ball the other way. Another good sign.
And Michael Saunders last night off the wall in left field, and also the day before over in Maryville. Vinny Catricella with a strike 0-1. Mike Carp last year, 12 home runs in the big leagues, 21 home runs down at Tacoma. And about 2 or 3 of those home runs, Mike, were the other way at Safeco Field. I remember Mike on the postgame show saying, listen, yeah, Safeco Field is a pitcher's ballpark, but if you hit it well, if you square up a ball, it'll get out, and it'll get out the other way.
We also saw him hit him off the glass out there in the restaurant, too.
My, how about
right
that?
field.
But one of those somebody's soup there in the Hayvier Cafe. Big breaking ball to Benny is up and away. Ball 2-1. Mike Carp giving the Mariners a 2-1 lead over the Giants. Benny last night had a couple of base hits and 2 runs batted in. Waits on that breaking ball, pulls the trigger, fouls it away, and it's 2-2. We saw Vinny with some good swings as you take a look at Mike Carp back inside the dugout. Home run number 1 for the spring. Youth will be served, Mike. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Vinny goes down swinging. 3 strikeouts for Barry Zito. Bring up Carlos Peguero.
And he gets him on the breaking ball. Pitches down out of the strike zone. And he can't lay off of it.
Zito 3-4 with the Giants last year in 13 games, 9 as a starter. Peguero for 1, hit the ball hard. Shortstop Brandon Crawford made a nice play off to his left on a short hop. Down on the way in the corner for a strike. Mariners still with 47 players in camp. Popped up by Peguero, right side of the infield. Coming up is Fontenot, the second baseman. Little adjustment, makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. But Mike Carp with a 2-run home run, and the Mariners have the lead after 3 innings of play. Mariners 2, Giants 1.
Right.
Thanks to Mike Carp's first home run of the spring, the Mariners on top of the Giants now 2-1. Welcome back to the Northwest Ford Sports Desk. Brad, Adam with you. We all know the Mariners start the season in Japan, but at their home opener at Safeco Field, we'll see a familiar face on the field. Mike Cameron, the popular outfielder who played for 4 years with the Mariners, will throw out the ceremonial first pitch for the Mariners opening night on Friday, April 13th against the Oakland A's. Of course it's against the A's. Game time 7:10. Pre-game festivities will start at approximately 6:30. Cammy returns to Seattle. Hey, Mariner fans, go get your tickets right now. Now we go back to Peoria. Lots of good memories. I know, Riz, you had to have a lot of fun calling some of that guy's plays out there in center field.
Oh, man. Brad, he was something to watch. As we go to the top half of the fourth inning, a swing and a miss by Nate Scherholz. It was fun watching Cammy take over in center field. Junior traded away to the Cincinnati Reds for Mike Cameron and Brett Tomko and Antonio Perez. And Blow, I don't know how many guys in the game of baseball could have come in behind Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest ball player that I've ever seen, take over and play center field like he did from Junior.
There's a couple of things that have to happen in a situation like that, Rick. One, he has to be, I think, likable, which Cameron with that smile always was. You see this fly ball head out to right center field.
Wells going back, Casper to the warning track, and he's there to make the catch. As Scherholz flies out one way.
But I can't remember whether it was the first or second game, but he gets an opportunity to go over the fence and rob somebody of a home run. And Cameron, as far as center fielders go, I mean, obviously he's as good as he gets, but he's also so graceful, and it was fun to watch him. And he just goes up over a fence, robs Derek Jeter of a home run early at home, and I think people at that point accepted him right away. And of course, offensively, he had his years too where he hit his home runs and did his thing also. But I used to love watching just run after balls out in center field.
Fontenot takes high and outside, ball one. Yeah, it seemed like after he made that great catch, the torch was passed because Junior had been traded. Okay. But the thing that was so similar, obviously the defense, the way that he played center field, so very well. But
there's no and there's no replacing Junior. You can't do that. That's not going to happen. But I think that just all of those things, all those qualities that Mike brought to the team and the game, and you just could see it and feel it from him. And I think that's what did it. And he did it in short order to where it just took the pressure off. You know what I mean? It was one of the things that just took the pressure off. He's not going to replace Ken Griffey Jr. Nobody is trying to say that, but I think it just took the pressure off of Cammy coming in after Kenny left to take that position and really own it himself for a period of time.
And what he had that was the same as Junior, that smile and the joy of playing the game of baseball. And he really exemplified that the following year in 2001 when he made the All-Star team. Erasmo Ramirez just misses. Ball 2-2-2 when he said, I think there were 8 Mariners on that All-Star team in 2001. Hosted in Seattle. Remember when he said, enjoy my enjoyment? And man, we did. Watching Mike Cameron make that All-Star team. Line drive right at Vinny Catricale at third, right in his tracks. Fontenot lines out, and there's 2 down for San Francisco. Say, friends, a new season of Major League Soccer kicks off this Saturday in Root Sports. Coverage begins with Jack Jewsbury and the Portland Timbers in action against FC Dallas. And it's a season opener for the Seattle Sounders as the Red Green play host to Toronto FC. It all gets started Saturday at 5:30 right here on Root Sports. 2 up, 2 down. Mariners leading the Giants 2-1. Nice job by Erasmo Ramirez. Big curveball to Crawford for a strike. 0-1. Like the way the little guy out there goes about his business, Mike. Comes after the hitters, not afraid to start off with that breaking ball for a strike. Fastball 94, 95 tonight. Change up. Did he go? He did not, according to the third base umpire. So he's got that in his repertoire.
I think with somebody like Ramirez, everybody's going to give up hits and they're going to give up runs, but you can do a couple of things. One, not walk batters, and 2, pitch ahead in counts. You give yourself such a great opportunity to limit that.
Good things happen.
That's right.
When you don't walk anybody. Hung-Chi Kuo getting loosed out of the bullpen, a Dodger last year. I was with the Tigers years ago, Mike. We had a pitcher by the name of Bill Gullickson. And I I was with Bill in the minor leagues when I was with the Expos organization in Double-A ball, and Billy was coming through the Expos organization. He went with Bill. He would give up his share of base hits, a lot of hits, but he didn't walk anybody. And he gave his ball club, at the time the Tigers, the Montreal Expos, a chance to win a game. And he won his fair share.
And when you do that, and Ramirez actually pitches at a nice pace, keep everybody involved in the game. The fielders are always ready. You'd be surprised how many plays they'll make behind you.
Like that start last Saturday against the Diamondbacks in Scottsdale. And there's the first walk that Ramirez gives up, and it's to Brandon Crawford, so he's out at first base with 2 outs here in the 4th. Only 67 walks in his minor league career. Here's third baseman Connor Gillespie. Back up the middle, out near the bag at second. The shortstop Rodriguez. The throw to first, and it's in time to get Gillespie. Another ground ball out, recorded by Ramirez, and that's it for the Giants. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Mariners lead San Francisco 2-1. Enjoy both the flexibility and extra cash in your pocket when you pick up the Mariners 6-game flex pack today. You pick the games, we'll provide the savings with tickets as low as $13 a seat. Mariners 6-game flex packs are available for a limited time only at mariners.com/flex. Great crowd here in Peoria tonight for our second telecast here on Root Sports. Yeah, up there in the berm, a great seat. 79 degrees, our temperature at game time. Mariners lead the Giants 2-1, bottom of the 4th inning. Miguel Olivo to lead things off. He had a bloop single in the right field in the second. 19 home runs led the ball club last year, along with 62 runs batted in. We're talking about mentors. Now he has a chance to work with young catcher Jesus Montero. Came over during the offseason in that big trade for the Yankees for Michael Pineda, along with Hector Noesi. There's another guy battling for a spot in that starting rotation, Noesi. Fastball from Zito, a strike. 3-1. Big hit for the Mariners tonight. If you've just tuned in, it's 1-out, 2-run home run by Mike Hart in the 3rd. Well hit left center field. On the run is Blanco, and to the warning track, he's there to make the catch. One away.
There you go, Brett. Even out, you said.
Yeah, that's right.
Flair base hit his first time up and hits that one on the button in the gap. And make a left turn back towards the dugout.
Yeah, he's 1 for 2. Right-hander warming up down to the bullpen for the Giants. Shane Lukes. Mike Wilson. Ground ball down the third base line. Off the glove of Gillespie. Gets behind him. And Wilson is on at first base. Brings up Jesus Sucre, the DH. Let's take a look at our Sterling Bank upcoming schedule. Well, the Mariners on Sunday take on the Rockies on Root Sports. Then when we come back from Japan, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, games against the Royals and Rockies. Mariners take on the A's in Tokyo March 28th and 29th, 2:30 in the morning live, 1:30 the following day, then replayed at 7:30 that night, 28th and the 29th. Major League season gets underway in Tokyo, Japan. Sucre takes outside. Ball one. Mike, you and Dave Sims will be in the Root Sports studios.
Yep.
Broadcasting that game. Anybody you want me to say hi to? You had a chance to play over in Japan for 1 year.
How's your Japanese? Ready to go? Ready to study it all winter?
I have arigato. I have ohio, which is I think hello. That's about it. Shigeru Wadonguska. How do you like Seattle? I learned that when Kaz came here in 2000.
Okay.
And I was getting ready to interview Kaz through the interpreter, Ide, and so I had him teach me that line to shock him. Just ask my first question in Japanese. Swung on and missed 1 and 2.
Did it shock him?
Shocked him. Looked at me like. And then he answered the question. I like me in Seattle. And he certainly did. 45 saves 1 year. Shigeru Wadonguska. Up and in, ball 2. 2-2 the count, and Sucre is 0 for 1. He's flied out to Blanco in center. Swing and a miss, got him. Sucre goes down swinging. 2 outs, and that is strikeout number 4 for Zito.
And that time it looked like he went to his changeup. Turn the ball over, run it away from the right-handed hitter. See if Luis Rodriguez can do something here. Ground out to third his first time up. Getting a chance to play shortstop tonight.
And Ryan, a little dinged up, came out of the game early last night with a sore quad. Hopefully he's all right. Up and away, ball 1. Mariners scoring runs down here this spring, averaging about 7 runs a game as a team, batting .293. And I got up with Chris Chambliss, Mariner hitting coach, in the tunnel leading out of the clubhouse this afternoon. I said, Chris, got to be happy with the ball club, the way they're swinging the bat early in the spring. He said, Rick, I'll be happy if they're doing this in April, May, June, July, August, September, and he said, hopefully in October.
Yeah.
There he is. And he's been there and done it in October. Chris Chambliss. Man, he could hit. 1971 or 72 American League Rookie of the Year with the Cleveland Indians. And had some big years as a Yankee. In the air, down the right field line, on the run, Sherholtz going back now into the corner to the warning track to haul it in. Luis Rodriguez flies out to deep right field, down the line to end the inning after 4 innings of play. Under the lights here in Peoria, Arizona, Mariners lead the Giants 2-1.
Welcome back to Mariners baseball here on Root Sports. M's on top of the Giants now 2-1. Angie Mentink with you, and we are helping roll out the new 2012 ad campaign. And this next one, starring Dustin Ackley, will have you saying, "Yo, Adrian."
That kid is really something.
And I aim to make that kid into a champ.
Who are you?
You're gonna eat lightning and belch slender, kid.
What?
If you can catch this, you can catch grease lightning.
What's your deal with lightning?
Swing that bat, kid, cause Mickey loves you. We did it, kid. We really did it.
Now, Brendan Ryan was sure that they were going to green screen in the chicken making that commercial. But, Rick, I'm here to tell you, that's a real chicken. But no chickens, no poultry of any kind harms in the making of this commercial.
Well, that's good to know. But I wonder if he ever caught the chicken.
Grease lightning, Rick.
Scene from Rocky.
Here, Brendan Ryan would like to be Mickey.
How about that? Bunt attempt on the third base side, picked up by the new pitcher, Quo. Fires the carp in time to get Chris Stewart. Trying to bunt his way aboard, but he's out 1-3. Hung-Chi Quo coming into the ballgame. Takes over in relief from Erasmo Ramirez. Mariners lead the Giants by a score of 2-1 here in the top half of the fifth.
That was a good bunt by Stewart. I thought maybe he would beat it out, but a strong throw to first, able to get him by a step. The stretch by Mike Carp going first base tonight. It was for Quo last year with the Dodgers. Pitched in 40 games, 36 strikeouts, 23 wins.
A few years back, he was one of the top left-handed relievers in baseball in 08, and just a few years ago, 2010 with the Dodgers. Gregor Blanco, the center fielder, takes a strike, 0-1. We're taking a look at the Mariner commercials. Jimmy Copacino and his crew have done another wonderful job putting together commercials this year, as they've done year after year after year. Way up and in as Blanco hits the deck. Ball one ball and one strike.
Well, that should open up the outer half of the plate for a good breaking ball now, Rick.
I am tight. He Mr. Blanco honest.
And I don't think that he did that on purpose, but it ended up happening, so I may as well take advantage of it. See if he wants to stick his nose in there on a breaking ball now.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Spring training,
There he goes. You called it, buddy.
He missed with it.
Pitching coach Carl Willis. You know, Chris Chandler's pleased with hitters. This guy's got to be pleased with what he has seen from his pitchers, especially Erasmo Ramirez tonight. Mike, 4 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 2. Fly ball, center field. Over is Casper Wells, waiting for it to come down, and Kerplunk makes the catch for the second out of the inning.
I don't think Ramirez did anything to hurt his chances tonight. Impressive.
Yep. Came as advertised, Mike, and threw a lot of strikes, and we had him for 50 pitches, 34 strikes. And the other stat that stands out to Mike, out of 17 batters, 11 first pitch strikes for that young man right there, Erasmo Ramirez.
Working ahead. Some weak swings tonight. Saw him break a few bats.
Freddie Sanchez with a strike on 1. We saw Kevin Millwood pitch very effectively last night after early struggles. He settled down. Got through 4 innings, and then Steve Delavar pitched well. Tom Wilhelmsen was outstanding, Mike, in the top half of the 9th inning against Kansas City. A 1-2-3 inning. Popped up. First baseman Mike Carp near the bag. And he makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. A 1-2-3. Top half of the 5th. We're at the halfway point here in the desert of Peoria, Arizona. It's the Mariners 2, the Giants 1. Erasmo Ramirez, what an outing, Mike, tonight against the San Francisco Giants.
Ramirez, I thought, was sharp tonight. Gave up a run in the first inning. Leadoff base hit came around to scoring, but after that, I see many Giants hitting the ball hard off, but Ramirez helps himself out with a fielding play right there. But a lot of ground ball outs, what we expected. A lot of first pitch strikes out of Ramirez. Pitched well, going 4 innings tonight, giving up just the 1 run. Did walk his first batter up this spring. That's news.
How about that?
Think about Ramirez, but overall, I think he helped his chances again tonight. Pitched well.
Once again, the line for Ramirez. The 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, the 1 run. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts through 50 pitches. He's got to be happy with his work tonight. So we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1 Mariners lead. Santiago Casillas, the new pitcher for the Giants. And Kyle Seager sends a fly ball to new center fielder Justin Christian, and it's Christian who makes the catch. 1 out for the Mariners. Guys up to the practical jokes, Mike. There's the old bubblegum bubble on the top of the hat. Hector Noesi finally figured it out.
I'm sure that's not the first time it's happened to him.
So you're telling me there's shenanigans that go on inside the dugout as well?
Well, the pitchers, especially starting pitchers, I know they don't have any work to do. They have a tendency to play games in their right.
Just having a little fun during the spring. Casper Wells hitter, 0-1 the count on Casper. Another defensive change for the Giants. Hector Sanchez is their new catcher. He had a couple of home runs against the Mariners over in Scottsdale a few days ago.
Numbers for Casilla. 51 2/3 innings for him. ERA 1.74. He pitched well for the Giants last year. 45 strikeouts. Opponent's average just 183.
Throws hard. Ball 2-1 on Wells, who has been aboard twice. He walked and scored when Mike Carp hit the home run in the bottom of the 3rd. Single back in the 1st. Casper with the Tigers and the Mariners last year came over in the trade for Doug Fister. Up and in, ball 3-1. Carp up next. Down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play into the big crowd tonight here at the Peoria Sports Complex. And comes away with a souvenir. A few weeks ago, the Mariners and the Padres, who share this beautiful ballpark in the complex, re-up in their lease, new 20-year lease. So they're going to be here for a long time. Great spot right here in Peoria. It's really growing. Along Bell Road, little pop-up right side of the infield. The second baseman Fontenot at the cut of the grass, and he's there and makes the catch. 2 outs. Here's Mike Carp, and it was the swing by Mike Carp giving the Mariners a lead. Mike in the 3rd.
Yeah, did exactly what you wanted to. A fastball away. Gives it a ride halfway up the grass bank out in left field. So far, the hitting start for the Mariners tonight. They'll get a chance to face a hard-throwing Casilla now.
First home run of the spring for Mike. 1 for 2 tonight. Breaking ball down low.
Mike's totals from last year. He was 276 with 12 home runs.
Before last season, Mike Carp went to work on himself. He lost weight, added muscle and strength, and it really paid off. And Eric Hughes, Mike, has a great example to the other guys in the ball club during the season last year. Look at the hard work this guy did during the offseason to get ready for the year.
Well, and the other thing with it, too, is you never know when something's going to click. Mike's first stint last year, he still struggled at times. Wasn't getting a lot of playing time, and when he was in there, he struggled. When they recalled him, they made a commitment to him to play him, and it paid off. Played well.
Little tapper left to the mound. Charging is the shortstop Crawford. And he gets carpet first base to end the inning. And after 5 innings of play here at Peoria, the Mariners leading the Giants 2-1.
The Mariners.
Two-1 remains the score as we move to the top of the 6th inning. We're back at the Northwest Forward Sports Desk. Brad Adam with you. Thanks to the weather here in the Northwest, the only thing really growing right now is the moss. In Seattle, the Mariners forcing a little sun to shine there on Safeco Field. Nothing but a wet, gray forecast in sight. Bob Christopherson helping the grass get a jump start on the spring growing season with a new system of grow lights. The mobile units are currently positioned over the infield and will stay in one spot for up to 48 hours and then get moved to a new position on the field. Tune in tomorrow on Mariners All Access starting at 6:30 for more on the state-of-the-art system groundskeeping crews using to improve the field at Safeco Field. That is tomorrow. Now after the game tonight, Mariners commercials are featured on Mariners All Access as we get you back to Rick and Mike. Guys, I got to ask, do you have a favorite yet, the Mariners commercials this year?
I have to wait and see them all before I decide. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Brad doesn't take a wedge with him over there and talk to Bob. See if he can hit a few chip shots there on the grass at Safeco Field.
That ain't going to happen. Pardon my English. Not going to happen. Bob Christopherson, the best groundskeeper.
Indeed.
And that field is such great shape. I wonder if Bobby right now is working on some new dance moves. 2-1 Mariners lead. We're in the top half of the 6th inning. Brandon Belt leading things off for San Francisco. 1-1 the count. I think you ought to go down there, Mike, and bust a move. Swing and a miss by Belt. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Maybe not.
Probably not, Rick.
They have a lot of fun. Belt, Pill, and Sherholtz for the Giants here in the 6th. One cheap quote took care of the Giants 1-2-3 in the 5th inning. In the dirt. 2-2. All right, Mike, answer me a question.
Sure.
Who's the better golfer, you or Brad Adam? Brad's pretty good. I know you're good.
Brad's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player.
A little bit at the Cystic Fibrosis Golf Tournament. Ever your great cause. Fly ball, well hit deep to right field. Wilson going back to the one. He tracked to the wall, leaps up, and it's off his glove. Heading for second is Belt. Mike Wilson to the top of the fence in right field. Got some leather on it, but he couldn't hang on. And Belt is in at second with a leadoff double. That ball almost got out of here.
That's a great effort by Mike Wilson. You can see how high he goes to the top of the fence, goes off the top of his glove. Go back a ways too. You can see how shallow he was before he gets back.
Just off the tip of his glove. Good effort by Mike Wilson.
I mentioned it earlier. Great high school football player, so he's a tremendous athlete.
Brings up Brett Pill. Pill 1 for 2. Doubled in a run back in the first inning, scoring Blanco. Popped up and out of play. 0-1. And Ramirez got him to ground out to Seager at second. During the course of the spring, Mike, plans kind of change at times for guys. We've seen year after year little pop-up out of play behind home plate, and it's 0-2 on Pill, especially for starters. There's a lot of competition. The guy just goes out and has a great spring. Sometimes they find themselves as a long guy or middle guy down in the bullpen.
Which is okay. You're only 300 feet away from getting back into the rotation if you do your job out there.
Right.
Those guys usually get a chance to pitch early in the season, the first month or two, because the starters aren't going to go as deep into games as they will later in the summer with the pitch counts.
Strike 3 call. Rose striking out Brett Pill looking. So 1 on and 1 away for the Giants here in the 6th inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority to the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
I think that the guys that get out into the bullpen, and that's going to be their job, a long reliever, you always need that spot starter. Every team, for every organization that you go out there, somebody in the rotation is going to go down, even if it's to miss a start, or maybe they go on the DL, and you have to have those guys that can do those types of things. Recently it was David Pauly. David Pauly did that job. He could go long, he could pitch for you in the 7th, he could do a spot start for you. Invaluable. They don't get a lot of pub, but those guys are important over the course of 162 games.
You got to have that guy, because there's only been one team since 1966 to have all 5 starters make every start. That was the Seattle Mariners. Back in, it was either 03 or 05. Ryan Franklin, Gil Mesh, and those guys, Freddie Garcia, Jamie Moyer, made every start that year. You got to go back to the 1966 Los Angeles Dodgers, the last time that happened. So those guys are mighty valuable. Out of play on the third base side by Sherholtz, so the count is now 1-2 on the Giants' right fielder. And there's always going to be an injury or two along the way, or somebody just gets a sore arm or something. You need that guy. And like you said, he's only 300 feet away down there in the bullpen to make a start.
Well, and that's one of the things that gets overlooked, I think. When you look at the quality ball clubs, the clubs that are winning, they not only have the talent for their starting 9 and in their rotation and out in their bullpen, but it's those extra guys that make a difference for you at the depth.
Up the middle, diving Seager off his glove into center field. Belt rounding third, heading home, and he'll score. The Giants even up this game at 2-2 on a single by Nate Sherholtz into center field. Kyle Seager might try to do his best to knock it down and keep Belt.
That's his job, Rick. His job is to try to keep the ball on the infield if he can, to keep the run from scoring. And if he's able to keep it on the infield, a double play would get him out of the inning. But Kyle doing everything, diving for it, and just can't get a piece of it.
So the Giants tie it up here in the top half of the 6th inning. San Francisco 2, the Mariners 2. 1 out for Mike Fontenot. 0-1. Fontenot has grounded out to Seager at second. He's also lined out to Vinny Catricala at third base. Way outside. 1-1. Good stop by Miggy. Hung-Chi Kuo, 30 years of age. 1-2 as a Dodger last year. Ground ball backhanded by Carp down to second. 1 back to Kuo, covering, and it's off his glove, and Fontenot will be safe at first base. Trying to back up on the play is Seager, but the ball, does it roll into the camera well? Well, Seager retrieves it, so Fontenot is safe at first. They get Sherholtz at second for the second out of the inning.
Really a nice play by Mike Karp. You can see him giving plenty of room inside. The relay back, it's a good throw from Rodriguez. But I think, well, as he was around first base, his footing wasn't right. He has a tough time finding the bag, and because of that, he misses the ball looking down to try to get his feet in the right position. That's something that these guys work on every morning. Pitcher's fielding practice.
Exactly. That was a catchable ball by Quo. You take a look at the veteran left-hander George Sherrill warming up down in the bullpen, but I think Quo came out pretty good on that deal because he had his foot right on top of the bag. He could have been spiked.
And that may have happened, I think, if it was during the season. Fontenot, a guy that's been around, he doesn't want to get hurt either, twist an ankle, and he did everything he could to avoid him. I don't want to see guys get hurt in spring training.
Brandon Crawford with a swing and a miss, 0-1. 0-for-1 tonight. He's bounced back to the pitcher. That was Ramirez in the second, and he walked in the fourth. The only batter that Ramirez walked. 1-1. Yeah, the first thing you see, Mike, when you go down to the lower fields during the spring, the guys get out there at 9:30 in the morning. That's what the pitchers are working on, PFPs. Covering first base. High fly ball deep to right field. Wilson going back to the one-he track. Goodbye baseball. Onto the berm in right. Brandon Crawford, his first home run of the spring, breaks up the tie. And it's now the Giants 4 and the Mariners 2.
Those little things will get you, Rick. You should have been out of the inning with a double play. Ball wasn't able to turn it. And the next hitter makes him pay the price with a 2-run home run out to right field. Fastball up in the zone, belt high. Gives it a ride. The wind has died down, so hitting it over the 385 mark. Hit it well.
Archie Quo giving the Giants that extra at bat. Here is Connor Gillespie, and he takes high and inside for ball 1. And Crawford comes through for San Francisco with a 2-run home run. 3 runs are in. Giants now lead 4-2. Willis and Eric Wedge. Fly ball by Gillespie. Shallow right field. Coming up, Mike Wilson is there, and he makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. But the Giants doing some damage. 3 runs on 3 hits. A home run by Crawford. Bottom of the 6th we go. It's the Giants 4, the Mariners 2.
At CenturyLink, we're your link to more for less.
quickly.
It's a calendar full of appointments you can't wait for. It's the Mariners Magnetic Schedule that reminds you when to catch the team in action this season, and it's being given away to all fans at the Mariners home opener on Friday, April 13th, thanks to Safeco Insurance. Pick up tickets to opening night now at Mariners.com. Great crowd tonight here in Peoria, and a beautiful night out for baseball. Our second telecast here on Root Sports. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning. Giants now lead by a score of 4-2. Vinny Catricala leads it off. New pitcher Shane Luke's out there for San Francisco. Luke takes over from Santiago Casilla, who had a 1-2-3 bottom of the fifth inning. Vinny 0 for 2 tonight. That was off the starter Barry Zito. 1-1.
Luke's numbers for spring this year: 3.86 ERA, 4 2/3 innings for him. My opponent's average at 3.53. So he's had to pitch out of some trouble.
Sinking fastball, Mike. 1-2 on Vinny. Giants 3 runs in the top half of the sixth. Big hit. 2-out 2-run home run by Brandon Crawford after the Mariners could not turn the double play as the pitcher, Cole, covering first, dropped the ball. He had the double play. If he catches it, would have been out of the inning. But only the 1-run swing and a miss by Catricala. Strike 3, and there's 1 out here in the sixth. That'll bring up Carlos Peguero. Mike Carp giving the Mariners their 2 runs. That was back in the bottom of the third with a 2-run home run to left field. Opposite field shot for Mike, his first home run of the spring. A lot of power in that guy's bat. Long Beach, California. That's where Ron Fairley grew up to. Long Beach. 0-1 on Peguero.
Ron helping out over on the radio side of things tonight. Good to see him at the ballpark.
You bet. Nice to have Red here along with Kenny Levine working on the radio side. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Other changes for the Giants as well here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Nick Noonan is at second base. Joaquin Arias is at third. Emmanuel Burris is the shortstop. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Shane Lukes. Banning Catricala and Peguero, so 2 down here in the sixth inning. Say, join us on Sunday for Mariners Cactus League Baseball. Seattle will be in action against the Rockies right here from the Peoria Sports Complex. Live coverage gets underway at 1 p.m. on Root Sports.
That last at bat for Peguero. Another one that's been inconsistent this spring with him, Rick. He's trying to shorten his swing up, make contact, and it seems he'll have one game where it looks really good, and then the next game it loses it, and then the last at bat you can see him just some wild swings. Something that Eric Wedge has addressed, and for Chris Chambliss will talk to him again just to get him back short again, shorten that stride up a little bit. He doesn't have to swing as hard, with the type of power that he has.
But make that pitcher throw you at least 3 pitches somewhere in that strike zone. Give yourself a chance.
And give yourself a chance to do something with that pitch. Yeah. That's the key to it. If he gets a pitch to handle, he has to do something with it. And he just hasn't been as consistent. But give him credit. He's been working on it and trying to make that adjustment so that he can hit consistently at this level. And AAA pitchers will make more mistakes, and he'll hurt them for that. Major league level, they'll find that hole and wear you out until you make an adjustment. He's trying to do that right now. It just hasn't been on an everyday basis.
Yeah, Tacoma last year, he had 317, and up in the big leagues with the Mariners hit 196. And a strike called on Miggy. He thought it was going to be ball 4. 3-1.
He thought this pitch was down.
Sanchez, the catcher, did a nice job to at least frame that pitch.
Go ahead and hit this one out of the ballpark then.
Fouled away to the right side of home plate. Full count. He hit 19 last year. Joaquin Arias at third base.
As it sits right now, I don't think he'll have to catch as many games as he had to catch last year, and I think that wore him down. He was a warrior last year out there and just taking a beating, but he has some guys to give him a break now.
Down the line and off the glove of Arias along the left field side. Miggy the turn at first, heading for second. Up with the ball is Pill. The throw to second base cut off by the shortstop Emmanuel Burris now in the ball game, and Miguel Olivo has a 2-out double. And the Mariners bring the tying run to home plate here in the 6th.
Ball hit hard down the line. It's past the third baseman. You can see the sinker running in on his hands. They were able to cut it off and ends up with a double.
Miguel Olivo on at second. Mike Wilson steps in. He walked in the second and singled in the fourth. 1 for 1. Time called.
Mike's numbers for the spring, having a good spring, hitting .417.
Good power, Mike. You can hit the ball a long way.
You can hit that scoreboard out there.
Off of the count is 0-2.
Oh, I think it was
just swinging a miss.
Yeah.
Man, it sounded like you got a piece of it, and over the third base goes Miguel Olivo. 0-2 on Mike. Bruce Bochy, skipper for the Giants, now in his 6th year as the manager of the ball club after spending all those years in San Diego. One and 2. Way outside, and then the dirt gets on by Sanchez, and he can't find it. And here comes Miguel Olivo on to score from third. It's a 1-run ball game. It's now the Giants 4 and the Mariners 3, and a wild pitch charged to Shane Lukes. Sanchez was looking all around, Mike.
Looks like it goes off the heel of his glove. He thought, well, maybe his bare hand even hits a piece of his bare hand, maybe off the thumb.
So the Mariners take advantage of a pass ball and a wild pitch to score Miguel Olivo here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Three and 2. 4-3 Giants. All the way up by the Mariners' third base dugout.
Looking down in the Mariners dugout, looks like Miguel Olivo's night is finished. He's putting his catcher's gear away.
Mariners have John Jaso in camp, Jesus Montero, Guillermo Quiroz. Unfortunately, early in the spring, Adam Moore was injured.
Yeah.
That was a tough one. That kid worked so hard to come back from the knee surgery last year. And strike 3 called on Wilson, Mike Wilson. As Luke strikes out the side for the Mariners, pick up a run. And after 6 innings of play here in Peoria, Giants lead 4-3.
George Sherrill now on the mound for the M's. It's a one-run game. Angie Mentink here, and the M's new ad campaign recently came out. Now, last season, no doubt about it, the favorite was Larry Bernandez. You had to believe that Larry had to make a comeback this season, didn't you? Well, it's time to find out.
Felix, you're a great pitcher, and I love that you're adding new skills. But I'm not sure about this one.
A little Felix.
That's not how you do that. Are we done here?
Mariners baseball. Get after it.
Little Larry.
Hernandez.
They say don't quit your day job, right? I mean, you know who does this? Eric Wedge is the one who nails these commercials. All right, so last year that was the fan favorite. What do you think, Rick and Mike? Are you guys coming closer to picking yours this season?
Man. I tell you what, I like
one more.
Yeah,
one more.
Eric was great. You know, are we done here? Little Felix. New pitcher George Sherrill takes over as we go to the top half of the seventh. Giants lead 4-3. Hector Sanchez first at bat fouls away the first pitch from George 0-1. I like him though. Good commercials coming your way this year. Raymond, Felix, Eric, Larry Hernandez.
Well, you know Felix has a great time with that.
Oh, yeah. 0-2 on Sanchez. How about the little guy that was dressed up as Larry Hernandez on our open before the game tonight? George Sherrill with the Atlanta Braves last year, 3-1 with a 3.00 ERA, up and away ball one. They're in 51 games. How about the young kids at the back end of that bullpen for the Braves?
They throw
Greg
hard.
Kimbrell, Johnny Venters.
Both of them throw around 100.
Man. Kimbrell, the National League Rookie of the Year. Those are for Atlanta. Down and in, ball 2. 2-2 on Sanchez. .444 hitter for the Spring with 3 home runs. 2 came in one game against the Mariners back in Scottsdale in the 7-5 win. 1 to left, 1 to right. 2-2. Full count. So you like the commercials, Mike?
Yeah, I think that last one was probably my favorite.
Felix and Eric?
Yeah.
Right now, mine is Brennan Ryan doing De Niro. Strike 3 called. Sanchez caught looking. George Sherrill with a strikeout. 1 away for the Giants here in the 7th. Say follow the Mariners with MLB.com. At bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training score stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Mariners.com for details. 1 away. And this is new left fielder Justin Christensen. He went out to play center field and moved over to play left field last inning. Low ball 1. We've had the Brandon League, Jason Vargas commercial with Jesus Montero tossing the salmon. Brennan Ryan and Ichiro and the other guys, and the impersonation of Robert De Niro, trying to figure out who it was. I thought it was very good. Everybody's saying Brad Pitt, Justin Bieber.
I think the guys in the clubhouse would give somebody else a hard time.
Yeah. Dustin Ackley with the taking the scene out of Rocky. Burgess Meredith character, trainer. And Felix and Eric. Larry Hernandez. Right center fielding deep on the run. Casper Wells can't get there on the track, off the wall on a hop. Christensen in at second base. A 1-out double for the Giants here in the 7th inning.
Christensen gets a fastball up out over the plate. Hits it hard into the gap. Looked like Casper Wells was playing shallow, not expecting him to be able to hit it over his head.
Christensen on at second. That'll bring up designated hitter Freddie Sanchez. 1 for 3 with a single to center field in the third. 4-3 Giants. 7th. When San Francisco won that World Series just 2 seasons ago, that was their first World Series title in San Francisco. And their first one since 1954. Previous time they won as the New York Giants. Willie Mays made the great catch off of Vic Wertz of the Cleveland Indians in that 54 series.
You had a chance to see Willie Mays when we were in Scottsdale.
Great to see Willie. Struggling with his eyesight right now. And man, it's just nice to catch up with one of the greatest players to ever put on a uniform. When Kevin and I drove to Cooperstown, New York for Dave Niehouse's induction into the Hall of Fame in 2008. Ground ball left side and gets on by the shortstop Rodriguez into left field. Base hit for Sanchez. Over to third base goes Christensen. Giants have runners on at first and third with 1 out. As we were the day before, as we were getting ready to watch Dave be inducted into the Hall of Fame, we went to the big party that night at the museum. And while the party was going on, Kevin and I and Tim Hebley walked around the museum looking at all the wonderful stuff in there. And I hadn't been since I was like a 10-year-old kid on a summer vacation to Cooperstown. And one of the things that really got my attention was Willie Mays' glove. It was in a glass encased box, and it was the glove that he made the catch in the 1954 World Series. I just stood there and went, wow.
How different did it look?
Pretty different. Line drive, base hit off the glove of diving Mike Hart. Brandon Belt is singled into right field. And here comes Christensen on to score. The Giants now lead 5-3.
I thought it was quite a bit smaller than what you see nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. It was flat. It was to get it into the case. Brandon Belt with an RBI single. Still 1 out here in the 7th inning. 1 in.
I've been fortunate. I've been to Cooperstown a couple of times. Once when I played in the New York Penn League, I had a chance to go, and then obviously when I was with the Mariners, I had a chance to go and play in that game that they play there. And I don't remember who we played, Phillies, I think.
And if you're any kind of a baseball fan,
it's great.
Baseball.
Yeah, it's great.
See all those wonderful artifacts. Icons and spikes, Babe Ruth's uniform, Willie Mays' glove. This is Tyler Graham. His first at-bat in the ball game. A strike from George Sherrill, 0-1. George striking out the first batter here in the 7th inning. That was Sanchez. But then Christensen with a double. Sanchez with a base hit. Freddie Sanchez. It's Hector Sanchez who struck out. And then Belt with a single to score a run. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Graham.
And Belt had a good night. That's 3 hits, including a double.
One of the top prospects for the Giants over at first base. Oh-2. Over to third, backing up Vinny Catrocala down to second, and it's going to be in time to get Brandon Belt for the second out. Brandon with a fielder's choice 5-4. Sanchez goes from second to third. So first and third now for the Giants with 2 away.
I didn't think there was any chance to turn a double play on that. Catrocala giving a little bit of ground to get a big hop. Seager, the second baseman, doing the right thing, get the out and get out of the way. Sure he doesn't get hurt.
2 on, 2 away, 1 run in. And here is Roger Kieschnick. 143 average for the spring. Fastball inside. Ball 1. Check swing. Did he go? He did, according to the third base umpire. Dan Bellino. 1-1. On at third, Freddie Sanchez. Tyler Graham over at first base. Runner goes at first. Throw down to second by Miguel Olivo, not in time. Graham with a steal. Holding at third was Sanchez. Second and third now for San Francisco as the count goes to 2-1 on Kieschnick.
Take a look at Quiros coming out of the chute. Good pitch to throw. On pitches up. A great jump by Graham. See Rodriguez doing the right thing too, getting in front of the bag.
Yeah, that's Guillermo Quiros. You're right, Mike. Throw it down to second base. George looking for that final out here in the top of the seventh inning. George isn't going with that straight brim on that cat. Line drive into center field for a base hit. Sanchez will score. Graham running third. The throw to the plate not in time to Quiros. So Roger Kieschnick with a single drives in a couple. And it's now the Giants 7 and the Mariners 3.
Tough night for George. It started off great for him. Gets a strikeout to start this inning off, and the Giants put together 3 hits. Fielder's choice, now another base hit.
And here's new shortstop Emmanuel Burris getting Infantino's spot in the order. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1. So George is thrown a lot of pitches, and the Giants have made him work here in the 7th inning. San Francisco scoring 6 of their 7 runs over the last 2 innings. Fly ball down the right field line. Slicing long run. Mike Wilson running out of room and out of play. 0-2 on Burris.
It's hard for us to tell from up here in the booth. It looked like he ran into the wall down there. There he comes. He's all right.
Tough kid out of Tulsa, Mike Wilson. Came close to making a great catch and a leadoff double by Brandon Belt in the 6th inning at the top of the wall in right field. All the way by Burris, still 0-2. Giants now with 7 runs on 11 base hits and no errors. Mariners 3 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. Wedge watching everything, taking everything in.
He has a lot of decisions to make.
He sure does.
If you look at the next 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now. A lot of bodies said he has to move out of camp. Be ready to go for that opener in Japan.
And now 47 players in camp, so they're going to have to trim down here pretty soon to get the starters their at bats and the pitchers their innings. Tapped foul to the left side of home plate, and it's still 0-2. When spring training is over, there's still a lot of things that go on down here in Peoria. Later on during the course of the year after the season, they have the Arizona Fall League. And that's just a tremendous opportunity for the younger players and different organizations to keep playing, and those young players to get better and get ready for spring training. And over at the Scottsdale Stadium, I noticed when I came in, there was the Arizona Fall League Hall of Fame, and a swing and a miss by Burris for strike 3. That'll end the inning, and Eric Wedge was a member of the Arizona Fall League Hall of Fame. Giants get 3 runs, top of the 7th. We go to the bottom of inning number 7, 7-3 San Francisco.
We are your local
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by CenturyLink. Consistently fast speeds and honest personal service. Find out more at CenturyLink.com. And by BECU. We are BECU. Join us. Beautiful shot of the cactus and the colors at sunset here in Peoria. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Giants lead by a score of 7-3. Nice crowd here in Peoria. Second meeting of the spring between these two ball clubs. Giants 3 runs in the top half of this inning.
Mariners are running out of outs. Need to make something happen here quick. Get back in this ball game.
Leading things off for the Mariners is Jesus Sucre, the designated hitter tonight. And it's 0-1. New pitcher Steve Edlifson on the mound for the Giants, Mike.
Take a look at his numbers from last season. Only 11 1/3 innings for him. A lot of walks, 10 walks in the 11 1/3.
One and two. Sucre has flied out to center and struck out his last time up. Breaking ball is in the dirt for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Outside of the putt-putt golf, what's the favorite part of spring training for you?
It's having a little fun with me. Yeah, we played a little putt-putt golf today. Rode the go-karts. My son, his wife down for about a week, flown inside ball 3. Just, coming out to the ballpark every day. My favorite part actually is getting a cup of coffee, sitting at the picnic table outside the clubhouse, talking with the guys, doing the interview with Eric before the games every day, and just visiting with everybody in the morning when it's quiet. Ball 4. So Sucre with a walk. He's on at first base. That'll bring up Luis Rodriguez. And here's a look at James Paxton, Banner Bank building to the future. Top prospect in the organization. This kid is going to be something, Mike.
He is. You look at his ERA under 3. 149 strikeouts in 112 2/3 innings pitched. Overpowering type of stuff for the left-hander. Only 23 years old. The future is bright with the amount of young arms this organization has. It's Paxton right up there towards the top of the list. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him at some point this year.
Eric and also pitching coach Carl Willis had the guys pitching together in one game the other night in Scottsdale against the Diamondbacks. Ramirez started that ball game and went 3 innings. That was followed by Danny Holtzen and then Paxton and then Taijuan Walker. And man, there is so much talent in the organization as we take a look at James Paxton, the big left-hander out of Kentucky.
Hard throwing left-hander. You can see the ball just jumps out of his hand. A little bit of trouble throwing strikes this spring. He's down the minor league camp now trying to work on that, but at times dominating stuff.
This was his performance on Saturday night. And here is Luis Rodriguez. 7-3 Giants. 1 on, nobody out. Sucre at first base. Head lifts in. Now the 4th pitch used by manager Bruce Bochy. Outside, ball 4. So Rodriguez with a walk. Back-to-back walk served up by Ed Lipson. So the Mariners have 2 on with nobody out here in the 7th for Kyle Seager.
And when you look at his numbers from last year, he was wild. The 10 walks we had talked about. Bruce Bochy has a lead late in the game. It's something that they don't want to see with Dave Righetti to his right. Pitching coach.
Righetti pitched for the New York Yankees. But Dave in the minor leagues at AAA Columbus. His dad Leo played for the old Seattle Rainiers. Outside on Seager, ball 1, and then 4th of July of, I think it was around 1983-84, he threw a no-hitter against the Boston Red Sox.
And now he's going to make a trip out to the mound.
And he's from the Bay Area, so he's working in his hometown as a pitching coach alongside Bochy. Dave Righetti, some kind of pitcher. Then he went from a starter to a reliever and was a closer then after he started for years in the big leagues. We had a staff down in the minor leagues in Columbus with Dave Righetti.
Is it the Columbus Clippers then?
Columbus Clippers. Strike on the outside corner.
Were they ringing the bell then? Columbus Clipper, ring your bell.
Lady started that. She brought a cowbell out to the ballpark. All of a sudden, it seemed like then there was 5 one night, and then 20, and then a few hundred, and all of a sudden they started giving away cowbells, and every night there was the cowbells. Whoa! So every time I see another former Clipper, that's the first thing they say. Columbus Clippers, ring my bell. Right side and through, a base hit for Kyle Seager. Sucre being stopped at third. The throw into second base. Rodriguez will check in there. Kyle Seager with a single. And the Mariners have the bases loaded with nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And Kyle gets himself into a hitter's count. Good fastball count. Able to pull it through the right side. Sucre, I thought maybe was going to try to score on it. Jeff Dest, third base coach, holds him up. Put a base hit for Kyle Seager.
So Seager on at first, Rodriguez at second, and Sucre is on at third base for Casper Wells, who has a base hit tonight. 1-1. Tying run at the plate. Low ball 1-1. Wells had a heck of a stretch last year, Mike, where he hit home runs in 4 consecutive games. Ended up with 7 home runs for the Mariners since coming over from the trade with the Tigers, where he hit 4 home runs.
Well, he's another good athlete that they have in camp. Playing time will be an issue, but he'll certainly fill in. He can play all the outfield spots.
Does a fly ball to right field, where it's going to be caught by Kieschnick. Tagging and scoring from third is Sucre, and everybody advances. Seager was able to tag and go from first to second, and Rodriguez goes from second to third. So the Mariners pick up a run on a sacrifice fly to right field by Casper Wells, and it's now the Giants 7 and the Mariners 4, and 1 out here in the 7th.
Kyle Seager ends up base running. He went back to tag up. About halfway, he was watching the infielders and saw that they had their back to him, so he just kept going. Able to tag it from first. Unusual to be able to do that, but he makes it in easily.
So 2 on in scoring position with 1 out for Mike Carp, who's now the tying run at home plate. And it was Carp who hit a 2-run home run to left field in the 3rd. Takes a strike. That was Mike's first home run of the spring. Chopper high in the air, first base line taken by the pitcher Edlipson. He'll go to first as a run will score. They get Carp at first, and on the play Luis Rodriguez comes home from third, and it's now the Giants 7 and the Mariners 5. And Seager advances a base. He goes to third. So Carp is out 1-3, but he picks up his 3rd RBI of the ball game. Mariners closed within 2 as you look at manager Bruce Bochy. 2 runs are in, and here is Vinny Catricala. Hitless on the night, 0 for 3, but he can tie up the game with 1 swing of the bat. 2 home runs this spring. Takes inside, ball 1.
So far, this has been the first time I've watched him play where he's struggled a little bit at the plate.
Seager early to third. Vinny, the Mariners minor league player of the year last year, playing at High Desert and at AA Jackson. Toward the hole at short, taken on the run by the third baseman Arias, and he gets Catricale at first base to end the inning. Well, the Mariners get a couple, and they strand a runner at third, and after 7 innings of play here at Peoria, it's the Giants 7 and the Mariners 5.
Welcome back to Peoria. Mariners get a couple back. They now trail it by 2-7-5. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentink here. And, you know, whenever these new Mariner commercials get rolled out, you'd always like to see all of them. Well, throughout the evening, we've been showing them to you, all in one place. We've got our last one now. If you've ever wondered where Justin Smoak gets his bats, this will answer that.
Is that Ichiro's bat?
Yeah.
Custom made in Japan.
Nice.
Where'd you get your bat, Smokey?
You know, same as everyone.
Mariners baseball. Get after it.
Timber.
And my only problem, of course, with this commercial is not that I don't believe that he would actually punch over a tree, but that tree that he punched over is pine. And Mike, if I'm not mistaken, most bats are made out of maple and white ash in the big leagues. Isn't that right?
I think you just need to go with it, Angie.
Yeah. Nick Noonan leaded off the top.
That was a pretty good left, actually.
I did too. Yeah. Punched out a tree, knocked it down, and then whack. 7-5, Giants lead with the top half of the 8th inning. Veteran right-hander Sean Camp takes over. Mike.
Camp's numbers for Toronto last year, a 4.21 ERA. Opponent's average 3.03. Gave up 3 home runs last year.
Joaquin Arias looks at ball 1. Let's see, that's our 5th commercial of the night. Justin Smoak. Foul along the third base line, taken behind the bag by Vinny Catricale. 1-1 the count on Arias. I'd like to be in the room where Jimmy Copacino and his other fellows and friends and folks get the ideas for all the commercials. How they put them together, put together the storyboard.
Always great.
Up and in, ball 2, 2-1. And I guess if you really trace the history of the the Mariner commercials. You go back to the late 70s, early 80s, when the Mariners had funny nose glasses night. Going way back, Tom Paciorek, Lenny Randall wearing the funny nose glasses, Joe Simpson, those guys. I'm going way back to the Wayback Machine here, Blow.
Yeah.
There's one where I think some of the guys like beat Tom Paciorek and Joe Simpson. Randall had a tuxedo on. They were dancing.
Oh, I remember that one.
You do?
Yeah.
Line right back to Camp, knocks it down, picks it up, has time, fires to carpet first base to get Arias 2 outs here in the 8th inning. We're taking a look at some of the top young talent pitching wise in this organization. Mike, how about this kid, Danny Holtzen, out of the University of Virginia last year?
Well, we just saw Paxton, a left-hander, another left-hander in the Mariners organization. You mentioned Rick, first-round pick for the Mariners.
Good fastball, good breaking ball, and I tell you what, he is polished. Just getting ready to start his professional career. Pitched in the Arizona Fall League back in October.
And then finds his way into Major League camp right away.
And pitched very well last Saturday in this game against the Arizona Diamondbacks over in Scottsdale. This kid is going to be something, Mike. Good stuff. Hector Sanchez, the hitter, and the count is even on Hector at 1 ball and 1 strike. Tom McNamara is the director of scouting for the ball club. He's done an amazing job the last few years. Line to the center field. Base hit for Sanchez. 1 on and 2 outs.
Jack Lorenzo came to Seattle and he brought his staff with him. That's what he talked about. Stockpiling the minor leagues and building from within as much as you possibly can. And they have done that with the amount of arms that they have. And now we're starting to see some of the offensive players. Of course, Ackley gets to the big leagues in a hurry. Kyle Seager. You're starting to see it. You know, the plan, all of the stuff that we were hearing when he first came here, it's all starting to come together. And I think it's a great way to go. It's a way when you put it together and you start winning games, you can do it for a period of time. And we're starting to see it now. All the young players that they have, including the pitchers that we've highlighted so far.
Yeah, any organization to get started, you got to build a foundation, and you start with the farm system. You have to produce talent, and if you don't, you're in trouble. Jack Sorensic now in his 3rd year with the ball club. One of his top guys seated off to his right on the left there is Teddy Simmons. You talk about a guy that knows baseball, great player. Also a former GM of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jack has surrounded himself with some talented baseball people. Joe McIlvaine. Pete Vukovich is here in camp. John Stearns is in uniform. 18 rookies made it to the big leagues last year. Ground ball down the line. Diving stop. Vinny Catricala, long throw to first. Shows off that gun of an arm, and he gets him. Holy smokes, what a play by Vinny Catricala, robbing Christensen of an extra base hit. That'll end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the Giants 7 and the Mariners 5.
Seattle Mariners baseball and Root Sports is brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's premier entertainment, gaming, and dining destination, and by Sterling Bank. Life is about the good stuff, and your bank should be too. Visit our new website at bankwithsterling.com. I don't know when we shot these because I haven't seen a cloud since I've been here. All right, guys, I have rolled out all 5 commercials. Are you guys firm on your favorites upstairs?
Well, I think we're still talking it over, but I still like the Brendan Ryan, Robert De Niro one. That
Eric
just
Wedge, Felix Hernandez for me.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'm going with Brendan Ryan, and the De Niro thing with Ichiro and the guys trying to figure out who it is. I still like the Eric Wedge, Felix Hernandez. Yeah, they're all good. They're all good. I like them all. Sure, the fans somewhere along the line will have a chance to vote in their favorites. You're going to see them all quite a bit throughout the year. 7-5 Giants lead with the bottom of the 8th inning. Willem Rodriguez, the new pitcher for the Giants. Carlos Peguero to lead things off. Down and away, ball 1-1 the count on Carlos. Peguero 0 for 3 tonight. Bounced out to short, popped to the second baseman Fontenot, struck out in the 6th. Ground ball to the second baseman. That's Nick Noonan now. 1 away for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 7-5 Giants. One of the other young kids, very impressive in camp, was 19-year-old pitcher Taijuan Walker, Mike.
Tall right-hander, intimidating presence, overpowering fastball. You got the 122 strikeouts in the 103 innings that he has pitched. ERA under 3. I mean, he's just a dominant. He can be a dominant pitcher, Rick. Just 19 years old.
Future is so bright for that kid. Banner Bank building to the future. Guillermo Quiroz with a foul out of play on the first base side. His first at bat since replacing Miguel Olivo, who was 2 for 3 tonight with a single and a double, and he scored a run in the 6th. Big chopper to short, charging Burris has it. And he gets Quiroz at first base, and there's 2 outs for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's a look at the young Taijuan Walker. He can bring it to home plate.
Look how easy his motion is, Rick, as he lets that fastball go at 97 miles an hour. Wow.
Then he has that big curveball. And get the fastball by in a hurry. He was dominating on Saturday night in Scottsdale against the Diamondbacks. Had a chance to watch that game, and all the kids were able to pitch. Ramirez and Paxton, Walker, Holtzen. Swing and a miss by Mike Wilson, and the count is 0-2. It's going to be interesting to see, Mike, where they decide those kids will wind up to start the year. They're not going to be there long. But I think it's real important to decide, okay, is he going to start off at Double-A?
Well, I think most of them, if they can, they'll put them in a warm weather climate early in the season. At least that's what I would do. But
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Most guys wind up sometimes at Jackson to get that warm weather in the Southern League.
Heilman getting loose in the bullpen, but I think all 3 of the gentlemen that we have featured tonight, they will be in the big leagues in a hurry.
Wilson with a drive deep to left field. Christian going back to the warning track near the wall, and he's there to make the catch to end the inning. We go to the 9th inning here in Peoria. Giants lead 7-5.
into the 9th inning. The Mariners need a couple runs to keep this one going. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentink here. We've been rolling out the new ad campaign. Mike and Rick upstairs have picked their favorite. Have you? Well, maybe you missed one. Don't worry about it. So right after tonight's game, we are going to roll out all of the new commercials, and even better than that, we have got the outtakes, a behind-the-scenes look at all of them. So make sure you tune in for that. And if you thought the Mariner commercials themselves were pretty funny, I promise you this, the outtakes, the behind-the-scenes looks that we're giving you this year, even better, Rick.
Absolutely, Angie. I think that's the best part, watching all the mistakes along the way, saving those things. New pitcher for the Mariners is veteran right-hander Aaron Heilman as we go to the top half of the 9th inning. Giants leading by a score of 7-5. Heilman with the Diamondbacks last year, 4-1 record with a 6.88 ERA. This spring, Mike has appeared in 3 games.
Yeah, he's pitched well. 3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks. ERA at 3.
Outside. 2-0 on Sanchez. Oh no, this is Jackson Williams. Jackson Williams hitter for San Francisco. Two and one. Back up the middle. Rodriguez wheels, throws the first, and he gets him. Good play by Luis Rodriguez. 1 out for the Giants here in the top half of the 9th inning. A little 360 spin move.
Yeah, showed some range going to his left, ball up the middle. He was playing towards the hole. Strong, accurate throw to first. Easy play for Carp.
So 1 down for the Giants, and here is Brandon Belt.
Belt with 3 hits, an RBI, and a run scored in the game. Good off-speed pitch now.
Belt way out in front. Fouled away. 0-2. Look, anytime you see a great play turned in by a shortstop, I think your thoughts go to one guy, Omar Vizquel, and the way that he has played shortstop throughout his major league career. And I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I hope so. Look at his numbers, his defensive numbers especially. I don't see how you can keep him out. There are guys that have gone to the Hall of Fame because of their defense.
Bill Mazeroski.
Yeah. Louis Giants have a pretty good. Guy that played some shortstop, sitting down there next to Bruce Bochy and Sean Dunston.
Oh yeah,
a little bit different style than Omar.
Every play, the great hands, and a swing and a miss by Belt for strike 3. So Heilman with a strikeout and 2 outs for the Giants here in the 9th inning.
Heilman, take a look at it. See the changeup. See the bottom fall out of it.
Wow.
Brandon Belt way out in front of that pitch. Location was excellent on it.
Here is Tyler Graham. The other day, Mike, we were in Mesa playing the Cubs and saw Chris Bosio, pitching coach for Chicago. And Bosio in his no-hitter in 1993 against the Boston Red Sox. Ernie Riles was the final batter of the game. He bounces one over the mound, in between the mound and second base, and Omar Vizquel came running across the infield, bare hands the ball, and throws out Riles at first base.
And I probably had the best view in the house of it, and I couldn't believe that he did it.
What was your reaction? Like, what? Okay.
I just started laughing because that's Omar. Just the pressure of all of it, and Boz has everything on the line. And when you see the ball go over the mound, Boz immediately drops his head. He thought that it was going to be a base hit. And here comes Omar, who could have gloved it. Decided to use his bare hand on it, and I was standing at third base at the time just laughing.
The final out. Yeah. Final play of a no-hitter, and he bare hands the ball.
Yeah.
But
that was Omar.
To do it.
Yeah.
1-2, the count on Graham. Fisted foul on the first base side. Count 1-2. As far as that no-hitter went, Mike, did you have any tough plays down there at third base behind Bosnia?
I think I had a couple of backhanded plays in the game. I think there was one that was a chopper that I came to, but it was early in the game before we had any idea that it was going to be that kind of night. I had a few plays in the game.
A no-hitter is special, obviously, but in the Kingdom, it's extra special. Great Hitters Ballpark. You played on that turf where the ground ball just,
it was fast
through the infield.
Yeah.
And against the Boston Red Sox, too. Fouled away in the third base side, and the count is still even on Graham at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's Bosio, a no-hitter. A couple of A's fans who made the wrong turn on the 101.
We'll be there tomorrow.
We'll be there tomorrow night to play Oakland. Full count, 3-2. Giants 7 runs on 12 base hits tonight. Mariners 5 runs on 6. Little looper right side of the infield. Mike Harp is there to make the easy catch, and that will end the top half of the ninth. One more try for the Mariners. We head to the bottom of the ninth here in Peoria. Giants lead 7-5. Hey, planning to see the Mariners at Safeco Field all season long? Then consider a Mariners 16 game plan and score big savings and benefits. Enjoy the same great seat for every game when you choose from 9 pre-selected game plans at mariners.com/16. Oh my goodness, how about that sunset right there here in the desert of Arizona? We go to the bottom half of the ninth inning. The Giants lead by a score of 7-5. Heath Hembree is the new pitcher for San Francisco. Jesus Sucre, the DH tonight. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. Sucre walked and he scored one of 2 Mariner runs back in the 7th inning. Fly ball into right field. Coming on is Kieschnick, and he's there to make the catch. 1 away. Hembree at Class A San Jose, no record with a 0.73 ERA, 26 games, 21 saves last year, Mike, and then at AA Richmond, he was 1-1 with a 2.83 ERA in 28 games and had 17 saves.
He's pitched well this spring. Opponent's average 180. He was down 143 or something like that. So he's had a good spring.
Nice year last year in the minor leagues. 0-1 on Luis Rodriguez. He walked and scored in the 7th. Up and away, 1-1. Mariners will be in Phoenix tomorrow night to take on the A's. And the Mariners will open up the season in just 13 days in Tokyo against Oakland. Towering fly ball into right field. Kishnik coming in. Roger is there and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down. 7-5 Giants. And here's Kyle Seager. One thing you got to like about this kid, Blow, is that, you know, he goes up there and he doesn't give up it at bat. He battles.
Typically will put the ball in play, use the entire field, gives himself every opportunity to get his hits. You look at his minor league numbers, and he ended up getting a lot of hits, and last year getting his chance, taste of the major leagues.
Takes outside for ball 1.
And he's been a good fielder too. He's really, that aspect of it, he's been solid whether he's at third or had to play second base. He's done a nice job in the field.
Foul tip, a fastball, and the count is even on Kyle at 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, made a nice play at third base last night. Having to his right, was that a couple of nights ago?
It was a couple nights ago.
Fouled away on the first base side, and it's 1-2 on Kyle. This kid made 3 stops in the organization last year. So take a look at the skipper, Eric Wedge. Kyle started off the season at AA Jackson, where he hit .312. Went to Tacoma last year and hit .387. And then with the Mariners last year, hit .258. Mariners down to their final out here in the bottom half of the ninth. And strike 3 called. Seager caught looking, and that will end the ball game. The Giants win 7-5 over the Mariners tonight. They've won both meetings on the spring by the same score. Barry Zito starts the ball game for the Giants. Erasmo Ramirez getting the start for the Mariners tonight. I thought was impressive. 4 innings, gave up only 1 run, walked 1, and he struck out 2. But the Giants win 7-5.
Ramirez pitched well, again taking another step towards trying to get into the rotation. How about Mike Carp? Mike Carp with his first home run this spring, hitting the ball opposite way to get the Mariners the lead at the time. Obviously, they couldn't hold up on the bullpen. A little bit shaky, and a couple left-handers that struggled. But overall, the Mariners offensively still scoring 5 runs. Good sign for them.
So the Giants win this one. A final score of 7-5. The Mariners Cactus League record goes to 10-4 with a 1 tie. Giants now with a record of 9-4 with a couple of ties. And let's go down to the field, and Angie along with the skipper Eric Wedge.
Well, I thought he had good stuff. He's a little erratic at times, but he's able to reel it back in. But his arm was really working good. He had a good fastball. He was a little passive with the secondary stuff at times, but when he's aggressive and heading the count, that's when he's at his best. But he's a good athlete. He commands the baseball with good stuff, and has some presence out there too.
You see a little bit more when they do run into a little bit of adversity and are able to.
Well, yeah, it's good to see, especially with young players and young pitchers in spring training, and just see how they handle it, or when they figure out what opposing teams trying to do to them, making some adjustments, and be able to to do that on the fly. And he does a pretty good job of that.
Relievers are tough to really kind of gauge where they are in the spring. At this point of the spring, you need some answers. Are you seeing what you need to see?
Well, we're getting there. I mean, we're going to utilize every inning we have here. We've got a big day of baseball tomorrow, so we're going to see a lot of guys and figure out where we are after tomorrow night.
What do you still want to see from Erasmo Ramirez?
Well, he's showing us everything he needs to show us. I mean, we've seen him as a starter. We've seen him in the bullpen, and we'll be able to see him at least one more time. So, but everything that I've heard about him, because I haven't really seen him prior to this spring, is what we've seen, and it's pretty impressive.
What does it tell you about Mike Carp's swing and where it is right now when he hits the ball opposite field that far?
Well, and that was true, too. I mean, he stayed behind it and drove it like a right-hander would drive it to left field. And, he has a lot of power. He really takes a lot of pride in his swing. He works hard at it. He's strong. He's in great shape. And to be able to do that against a left-hander, I think it says a great deal about his swing where it's at.
Meantime, catcher Colin, maybe not his strongest night at the plate, but at the same time, made a heck of a play there in the 8th.
Well, and he's I think, surprised a lot of people at third base. We wanted to give him every opportunity to play third base as much as we could this spring, and he's really shown himself well. And relatively new to the position. He played it a little bit in college and somewhat in pro ball, but not as consistently as we played him there, and we want to continue to do that.
Thanks, Skip. Skipper Eric Wedge, and while it's not the way the Mariners would like it on the scoreboard, at the same time, you hear there that there's still great things to take out of this game, guys.
Absolutely, Angie. The Giants win it tonight by a score of 7-5, but Mike Blowers, I think, the little right-hander did a nice job. Erasmo Ramirez in his second start of the spring.
And I thought it was interesting listening to some of Eric's comments saying that he has shown something out of the starting rotation and out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
We talked about that early on, and I think that the young man, again, basically did what everybody has been talking about, throwing a lot of strikes, working ahead of hitters, trying to keep the ball on the ground early, helped himself here with some good defense, but overall a strong outing for Ramirez, who surprisingly, to me anyways, the velocity on his fastball is much better than I expected it to be. At times, he was at 94, 95 miles an hour tonight.
And a good breaking ball, and there he goes. He gets a lot of ground ball outs, Mike. He's down in the strike zone, as you mentioned during the course of the telecast tonight. Quality pitches in great locations. And here's a look at what the other guys did tonight as well. Quote Sherrill, Camp, and Heilman.
Well, and Sherrill both struggling in the game, the two left-handers coming out of the bullpen. But I thought Camp, who pitched for Toronto last year, veteran guy, has been around, threw the ball well. And then, of course, Heilman also pitching the last inning for the Mariners.
Mariners were down early 1-0, but not for long in the bottom half of the third inning. Mike Hart put the Mariners on the board. Good power at all fields. This time he goes the other way, gets a left-hander Zito.
And I agree with Eric Wett. Anytime that a left-hander against a lefty can let the ball travel, you know that they're starting to trust their hands. They're not trying to do too much with it. And for him to drive the ball out opposite field, good stuff from Mike Hart tonight.
So the Giants win it, a final score of 7-5 over the Mariners, and the spring continues. Mariners are now 10-4 for the Cactus League season. That wraps it up here in Peoria. The Mariners down 7-5 to the Giants tonight. We're going to be back Sunday afternoon with more Cactus League action from Peoria, where the Mariners host the Colorado Rockies right here on Root Sports at 12:30 in the afternoon. Stay tuned. Mariners All Access is next. Angie Mentink will bring you the full story on the 2012 Seattle Mariners commercials. We had a chance to debut them tonight. The great outtakes, and we'll find out who the real actors are. Mariners All Access begins right now on Root Sports. So long, everybody.